Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the AFL Fend podcast. In a room that's, well, there's only two of us, so
It's not full.
as far as Sammy's concerned, it's not full of champions today. So.
It's not full with champions. And it's not filled with Mr. Australia.
Mr. gets the rig out whenever he can.
Did you see some of the stuff?
The photos.
Some of the photos.
Oh, Marie goes to me, "What's Sam doing?" And I look on Facebook
He's
and I'm
competing. Did you see his outfit? The heritage outfit or whatever?
the heritage outfit.
Yeah, there's like an outfit that he had on, and it was meant to be relevant to the nation that they're from.
Oh, okay. So it's like a Miss Universe thing.
Yeah, so I thought he had like a cork hat on and all that. But no, he was just dressed as a Spartan.
Is that because we have a lot of Greeks in Australia?
Couldn't tell you. I'm not too sure. I think they probably panicked and they're like, we don't know what the fuck is. I don't know if he had input.
What
on
can
the
we
costume
do
or-
to get his rig out?
Probably. I think he won.
Spartan.
I think he won Fitness Man.
Fitness man.
Yeah, you know how they got like Miss Congeniality and all that. I think he won Fitness Man.
Well, I
think, not 100% sure.
I knew he had the big Satch Man of the Year carrying that around.
Very nice. Very nice.
Some of the photos.
We'll see you next week, Sam. I'm sure we'll have questions. Let's get started with the Toby Green saga. What are your thoughts on? We haven't discussed this. What are your thoughts on the Toby Green saga?
Very interesting.
It is interesting.
Very interesting.
I only saw the footage probably about 20 minutes ago. I hadn't seen the footage.
Now, here's the question: what was worse?
The first one.
Absolutely. And I think there's a bit of a consensus on that as well, from what I've been hearing.
This one was like, the thing that the tribunal probably, first off, the first thing that they would have thought is, oh, he did it again.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. Because if you watch the footage, they're probably going to argue that the intent was there.
Yeah.
Because there was a raking movement here.
Oh, well, that's it. That's up for debate as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it could either be raking or it could just be.
But did you hear what Lockie Neal said?
Yeah,
I felt it on the nose, not in the eye.
Bontempelli didn't say anything,
Yeah.
and he got fucking eye gouged or whatever it was.
Exactly.
You can
I
tell.
Players' code and
Some
stuff.
players'
like that.
code, yeah, they're not going to come out and shit talk another player, especially when they've got so much on the line like playing in the prelim.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
I don't want to take things away.
Toby Green should have gotten a week last week.
Yeah.
So it's just bad luck. You missed out on a more important game.
When it came up, when it happened and I heard the news about it, going,
It's just.
what are you doing?
Why is he after last week? Why has he got his hand anywhere? It wasn't even necessary.
No.
There was nothing necessary about it. It's not like he had to put his hand there to like balance his weight or anything like that.
He's trying
trying
to show a bit of aggression, and
Yeah.
it's the wrong way to do it.
And you know what? And then it doesn't help when Leon Cameron comes out and goes, "Oh, we love it when Toby does stuff like that," because he's going to keep doing stuff like that.
I do wonder if that was more just a public show.
It was a public standing up.
Whereas probably in the back and going, Toby,
You'd hope so. You'd be like, Toby,
you're
it's alright to be aggressive and play to the edge, but don't go over the edge.
No,
Don't do stupid things.
You're costing us the biggest week of the year.
Yeah. Not only that, the Giants struggle to win when they don't have Toby.
Yeah, and now they've
And
got
now
Lockie Whitfield out.
And
as
now
well.
Lockie Whitfield's out as well. With appendicitis.
Appendicitis.
I think it is.
Timing. Jesus.
Terrible timing. And Whitfield's arguably the best player.
Yeah.
He's arguably one of the best players in the league. And I think they're going to struggle now. We'll go through the game later. Anything else on Toby Green? Just pull your socks up, mate.
Yeah, like
The big gun, looking prick.
look, he should have got suspended for the first one. It's clearly
Snowball.
It's clearly because he's done it 2 weeks in a row. It's like, what are you doing? It's like what we're saying with Ablett earlier in the year.
Yeah.
Like, how wasn't he suspended
The first time.
Well, the first time.
The second
Not
one.
the second time.
The
but
third,
the third
and
one.
the third one wasn't even the worst.
No.
Yeah, it's just. Yeah, they're not meant to. That's not meant to come into consideration. Looking at past. Well, actually, it is. But Toby Green's been suspended. Not suspended, but he's been to tribunal 18 times.
Yeah.
18 times, and I think he's had 7 weeks of suspension. 18 times.
And was it like 20,000 something in fines as well?
27,000, something like that. And he couldn't win the NAB Rising Star because he's been suspended.
Who won that year?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Not too
that'd be
sure.
interesting.
But yeah, Toby Green, come on, mate. Tom Hawkins, the big tomahawk.
Yeah.
Oh, he's getting angry. He's aging. He's maturing.
Yeah.
It's silly things. He never used to be that kind of player. I didn't think. Maybe I just didn't watch
He's
enough.
got a rap sheet. He's got a history of striking.
No, he's just silly.
So, but you look at him and he's like,
He just
he
looks so
like
harmless.
he looks like the happiest
He
champion
does.
that ever.
He's a happy dinosaur. The little dinosaur tape.
I thought he had like a froggy kind of.
Nah, it's
all
all
different.
different. Well, amphibious, reptilian. He's a good-looking man, though. I'm not saying
No.
he's a handsome man, but this is just silly. And
Does him and David Green kind of have a little bit of similarity?
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought that was a little bit interesting.
That
That
the cheap structure.
Yeah.
But Toby Green out for the Giants is much worse than Hawkins out for.
I disagree.
Disagree.
I think I watched the first quarter, missed the middle, and watched the fourth quarter of the Geelong West Coast game.
Yeah.
And it was the combination of Hawkins and Radaglia that absolutely smashed that game apart.
Yeah.
With Dangerfield rolling around taking marks. But West Coast did not have an answer for that two-pronged attack. And yeah, it's going to be wet.
Oh, should we go through the games? Last week's games?
We can do that later, but just because it's relevant now. The Hawkins out is massive for Geelong.
Yeah,
I see. And I reckon both of these outs have cost both of them.
I didn't think they were going to win anyway, personally. We talked about Whitfield. Sean Higgins has just said no thank you to Geelong, and he's going to stay at the North Melbourne Kangaroos.
Believes in the shore.
So Sam, I think Sam wanted him to go. Did he want him to go? I don't know why he wanted Sean Higgins to go. He's your best player.
I think Sam probably doesn't rate the list at the moment.
Yeah, no, he doesn't.
So,
What were they going to get for him, really?
I was going to say, what's his age profile? Like, is he?
He's been 30.
Yeah, you're not going to get much.
No, you wouldn't get much.
May as well keep him around, teach new kids coming
Yeah,
through.
I reckon. Well, wouldn't you? They don't really have an older dude. They got rid of him. Yeah, Goldstein, Zeebel's not. Is he even an older dude? How old is Zeebel? I don't know how old Zeebel is.
Like 28, 29?
No, he's a dickhead. So no, it's probably it's the right choice, I think, for the Kangaroos, and probably the right choice for Higgins as well. Do you reckon this is Ablett's last year?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Because I don't think the forward line experiment has been properly played out yet. And I don't think he's slowing down. He's looking pretty good.
He's looking alright.
Around the packs. Like, he played a big part in that last quarter as well on Friday night.
Yeah.
Like, if they do win the premiership, that's probably when the question will get asked.
He'll do the Shane Crawford. That'll be it.
Possibly.
I reckon. I think that long. He's been doing it for such a long time, and he's been so good for so long. That's got to be mentally taxing.
350 games. I didn't realise.
Yeah. He looks like he's getting a bit over it. Like, there's glimpses where he's loving it.
Yeah.
But surely he just there's days where he's just like, I just wish I was at home with my family.
Well, he's in Geelong, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I know,
but I get what you mean. But do you really reckon he's just going to fade into the shadows, right into the sunset, or do you reckon he's going to have a career back in footy?
Oh no, he'll be like his old man. You won't really hear from him again when he does leave.
Yeah. You know what? Probably earlier in his career, he seemed like he was interested in the media.
Maybe.
And then I think the Gold Coast probably wore him down.
Yeah, and he's never really been the most charismatic of people.
No, he's not like a Danger or something like that.
Yeah, and he couldn't do the Sunday footy show or anything like that because he's got church. So, the succession plan. Loving the succession plan.
You know what?
You just hyped up talking about Essendon.
No, because I didn't want to say anything outright because I thought it was a bit of a weird idea, but the way things were going, progressing the last few weeks, with all the hype around, you know, are they going to keep Woosher or not? You know, Ben Rutten's sitting there as a senior coach.
Yeah.
You know, he could have had a gig this year. It was starting to sound like this was the most likely thing that was going to happen.
Yeah, and I think we've been mainly saying, or I've been saying it all year, that Woosher would coach next year, but he wouldn't coach beyond that. This sort of ties into that. I'm surprised it's Rutten, personally.
Really?
I am. I think it just goes to show that Carousel doesn't want to be a head coach.
Yeah.
Because he had to be the first option. That's why I thought they were bringing him over. I thought they were bringing him over so he could be the senior coach in the succession plan.
When he first arrived, it was sounding like, oh, are they trying to get him to come in after Woosher? Is that what they're trying to do?
Yeah.
But as there've been a lot of talk about Rutten being good as a potential senior coach, and it was starting to sound like, hang on, I think
bringing Carousel to
maybe, and they really like the look of Rutten.
Yeah.
But it's
I like Rutten because he looks like a coach. He looks like a Hardwick sort
he's
of
got
coach.
beef, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw him in the paper and go, holy shit,
He's an intimidating looking man.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Essendon need as their figurehead. Personally, because Essendon's not a very fucking intimidating team.
No.
Woosher wasn't a very... Well, actually, silent but deadly. And he was a bit of an intimidating player.
I really liked him in the presser as well.
I didn't watch the presser.
I think it just came up on whatever day it was. I think it was Wednesday. I'm going, oh, what's going on there? I would like to see, because it's looking like Woosher's going to bring in Rutten for a lot of the things that are going to happen.
Absolutely.
I'd like to see maybe like a 50-50 split of presses where they actually send in Rutten to do the press instead of Woosher.
Yeah.
Because you get way more out of Rutten than you would out of Woosher in a good way.
But I love watching Woosher in a press conference. It's so painful. It's great. I also think that next year, effectively, Rutten will be the head coach.
Probably.
But Woosher will just be there, sort of.
He'll show the ropes and it's like, look. Yeah. Because and that's what Woosher said. He said if there was a big decision that they had to make, he would bring in Rutten.
Yeah. And you sort of have to because
show him what Woosher did,
and
then Woosher said, all right, what would you do?
I reckon it should be the other way around. I reckon Woosher should be like, well, what are you going to do about
I reckon that'll happen towards the end of
it, yeah.
It might depend on where Essendon's sitting on the ladder as well, in terms of finals and stuff like that, which is why it's a funny time to be doing it now. Then again, Collingwood did it, they made a grand final.
Yeah, exactly. But what happens if it doesn't work out? What happens if they get him in there and they hear all these? I'm sure they already know his ideas and his mindset for it. But let's say he just starts having these big like Trumpian ideas, and they're like, "Fuck, we can't do this. You can't back out of it now.
Yeah,
you can't. It's done." Not that that'll happen, but I'm sure they know his ideals and how he wants to go about it, and otherwise they wouldn't have announced it.
I think they've got no choice.
Either way.
I think they've got to start taking risks.
Well, they have to.
Because
so
Heppel, Heppel's not getting younger. No. Merritt's got I was surprised when I found out how young Merritt is. He's got a long time to go. But some like Hooker, Hurley, they haven't got a long time. Yeah. They've only got
2-3 years.
If that. 3-4 I'd say. Well, especially Heppel. Heppel's not signed down, but he's still old.
Hooker is.
Hooker's got back issues.
1.5 years tops.
And
Hurley's fallen apart.
Yeah.
Not all the tape in the world can hold that man together. Willie Rioli. So I heard something, this was a while ago though, but you brought up something. I'm going to go through my one first because I think your news is more recent than mine. I heard he had stage fright.
Yep.
And after 7 fucking hours, he still couldn't piss. That's ludicrous, surely. But I've heard of instances in other codes, like say like the NFL or something, where players haven't been able to piss and they just keep waiting. They'll wait fucking day.
No, they do.
Yeah.
There's been stories about, I think Matty Lloyd brought it up.
Mm.
I think he said when he was 17, I think, after a game, training had finished at 6, and I think he was there for like a good 4 or 5 hours, and they kept like feeding him drinks.
Yeah,
and Brownie was the same thing.
Yeah.
After a game, I think he was at the bar with the Asada guy, and the Asada guy kept feeding him pots.
Well, that's the
trying to
thing.
get him
I can understand it. I can understand that. Like, you got all these people around this high pressure situation. Sometimes you can't wait. But yeah, give them. I know it's unpopular, but give them a couple of frothies. That'll get you going.
Yeah. Well, probably
Maybe not.
frowned upon now, but in Brownie's day,
Back in the day,
and like as if you're going to deny Brownie a pot. Like, come
but
on.
it's a bit.
Even in the early noughties.
He'd be drinking at half time.
Yeah.
He drinks in between ad breaks on the couch.
I'm sure he does.
It's just baffling, really. Like, and then to put Gatorade in there just to get out of that situation. He must have been really stressed. If this is true,
I don't know how. It's not much of an excuse though.
it's just dumb.
And he's
He
going to
still did it, and he's still going to get into trouble.
He's still going to do it.
It's just a weird situation.
Well,
isn't it?
well, it gets weirder because I think it was a Western Australian newspaper article, and it's a little bit difficult to get hold of, so it might be just a little bit of hearsay. But they did blood tests as well, and apparently that came back negative. So he's now done this over nothing.
Why do they do the piss? Why don't they just do a blood test?
I think.
Is there something else that you get in piss?
Yeah, I don't think the blood test gets everything.
No. Oh well.
Or it takes longer to get into the bloodstream, so the urine test is more for stuff that's happened game day.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's more like for the illicit stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
I'll see you in 4 years, really. Chris Scott, Richmond. They were better last year.
Ooh.
Did you see him say it? How did he say it? I didn't see him say it. I just read it.
I think he was saying there were parts of their game that were a little better this year than they are this year.
Why say something that's going to motivate the other team?
I know. I think he was probably trying to go for a psych out.
It didn't work.
Just
That's not going to
he
work.
picked the wrong thing.
That's not going to work. And then I think Hardwick just came out and said, "I love how he goes about it." Like it was just water off a fucking duck.
Yeah, I know.
Like
You don't get what?
that's the worst
That's a
psych
psych
out. That is the worst psych out. If you want a psych out, like say if a player's out, you'd be like, "Oh, yeah, I don't think I can win without him." That's a psych out.
Yeah.
Saying they were better last year is like Richmond are going to be like, "Well, fuck you.
Yeah.
We're better this year, and we'll show you." And they are going to show them, and that's what's going to happen. I like Chris Scott because he does say things that you get a bit of a kick out of, but coaching wise, it's just not smart to say some of the stuff that he says.
Yeah, it's like
He's very self-righteous too.
it is a bit of throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Well, that was his
And-
career, wasn't it, as a player?
And he had a brother to back him up as well.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't have that
Come on,
again.
Nick Rebel, you got a sore shoulder.
Well, okay, that's something that I just remembered.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you see I think it was Kennedy on Charlie Cameron over the weekend?
No.
So, Charlie Cameron went off, I think, for an elbow injury during the game, and he got a bit of strapping on it. And then afterwards, I think it's Adam Kennedy from GWS was like swinging his arm around to whack the elbow.
Wow. Yeah.
The umpires noticed this and come in, and they've mic'd up the umpires, obviously, so everyone got to hear. It's like, it's out of the spirit of the game, stop it before I penalise you. And he stopped doing it.
Was Cameron on the field?
Yes.
So he wasn't running off.
Yes.
I don't know, man. I reckon if you're like, I'm right to stay on the field.
So this is
Anything that you would do otherwise, like, because if he wasn't injured, there's no issue with that. If he wasn't injured, there's no issue with that. If you say you're right to be on the field, then you're 100% right to be on the field.
But this is the Stevie J rule. So Stevie J went back on the ground once, or he might have started the game with broken hand, and it was well publicised.
Yeah.
And the St Kilda player, it might have been Kennedy again, like not that Kennedy, but a different Kennedy, it was a lot more forceful, but it was just like whack,
I think I
whack,
remember that.
whack,
Yeah.
whack. So the rules come in for that.
Yeah.
Is that you're not allowed to deliberately target an injury of a player, which I'm a bit sus on. It's like you're going onto the ground with an injury.
Yeah.
You know that everyone else knows you have an injury.
Exactly.
What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, it's like there's been spirit of the game at Agnes because that's what it's.
Well, that's the thing. They want the good players to play.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
But at the same time, if you're right to go, then you're 100% right to go.
Yeah. And so there's been a little bit of hoo-ha. I think Nick Rewell went after, and I think he's right on this because he was, and I think Cara got a neck up because I thought she was a bit. I think she's very naive on this case, but Nick was saying, so now players can just go out there with strapping on, and pointing to the umpire and going, look. You better make sure the defender's not niggling me now because I've got an injury. Like, yes, of course that's going to get exploited.
But then that's under the spirit of the game.
Exactly. So but that's the problem now because you can get players going on feigning injury.
Yeah.
So now the umpire's got to make another judgment call and going, are they pretending about that injury?
But they don't have to make a judgment call. But they go over to the doctor. Like, how's he going? Why's he wearing that? I don't know. He just popped it on in the rooms.
But now that shifts again. So now the doctors have to be honest.
Doctors aren't gonna.
I placed a lot more faith in the doctors.
Yeah.
But still, now you're shifting the burden.
Doctors have like a code of ethics and shit.
Yeah, I agree. It's
where
just
are we?
yeah. I don't know. I get it because I don't particularly like seeing the niggle too much.
Yeah, I'm not a massive fan.
I'm not a big fan of it, but the thing is, you know you've got an injury, you're going back on the ground, and people say that's courageous and stuff like that. But you know you've got to expect that.
You've got to accept the consequences.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
It's like in cricket. People go on about sledging, but in cricket, the mental game is 70% and the skill is 30. So you attack the mental side when you say there's a weakness there.
Yeah.
Same thing in footy.
Footy's physical.
Yeah, there's a little bit. If you can get into the head of the team.
Yeah. I'm sure there's lots of that in the AFL. That'll never get stamped out, surely.
You'd hope not.
Imagine if they were just like, you can't talk to them anymore, you can't say anything.
You know, people say it was like, it's turning into netball. We can go, have you seen netball?
That's rough.
That's rough.
That's rough as go. I wouldn't play that. I'm scared.
Yeah. Netball's starting to get rougher than AFL. So.
Absolutely. AFLW is the roughest sport I've ever seen in my life. Have you seen that? Have you watched any game? I think I only watched a few this year, but they are insanely.
Granted, that game's a lot more contested than.
Well, yeah,
AFL.
because it's so close in. But you just watch it, and it's like when I watch WWE and something big happens. You're like, oh fuck! you don't get many moments. Sometimes you get moments like that in the AFL.
Yeah.
But in AFLW, it's every 5 minutes. Oh fuck! Oh shit! And that's why it's shouldn't be why it's good to watch, but it is why it's good to watch. What do we want to do? Do we want to look at the brown line? Have a look at the brown line. What do you reckon? You don't care about the brown? I had my thoughts about who might be the front runners, and then I looked at the predictor.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I thought, Fife and Cripps were probably going to be the front runners, but they reckon Dangerfield.
So we'll run through the top 10. Let me just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we'll start off with Josh Dunkley in 10th position, 10th favourite according to the predictor. Probably not according to the betting odds, although I'm sure it's very similar. Dunkley,
because these have been out for a while, so
yeah. Well, Dunkley is set to be finishing on 19 votes, so probably can't
Yeah, but and you've got number 9 on the list.
The Bond.
So
They're going to take votes from
they're
each
going to
other.
take votes from each other.
Absolutely.
So I can't see either of them having.
Yeah,
a chance.
it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
And then they've got Jack McRae as well. It's going to take votes off them.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for any doggy to win the Brownlow. They're no Adam Cooney.
No.
8th position, Brodie Grundy, and he is the only pie in the top 10, but Scott Pendlebury's sitting out at about 12th.
Yeah.
But I'd say Grundy's going to get. He probably will finish around 23 votes.
Maybe. But he's got a similar problem where he's got Pendles and Trelaw
No.
that are going to take votes.
But our
and
man-
side bottom early on as
But,
well.
yeah, well, yeah. But our man in 7th position, he's the smoky. He's the dark horse because it's Maxi Gawn. Apparently going to finish on 23 votes. The thing with Max Gawn is, who's going to take votes from him?
No one.
No one. The other thing with Max Gawn is, how many games did they win? Typically, if you're in a losing side, but you were the best on ground, you'll get one vote.
He also got targeted early,
Yeah.
and it took him a long time to get into the season.
It did. But once he did, he was probably better than Grundy this year for me.
Yeah, I think he outplayed
Especially
him when they played.
Yeah, he did both times, absolutely. And the other thing is it's hard for a ruckman in a Brownlow account.
Yeah.
So then we've got, where are we up to? Where are we?
Lachie
7 or 6? We're 6. Lachie Neale. Lachie Neale finishing with 24 votes, they reckon. It's probably going to be another tough one for him because he might have Zorko taking a few votes and a couple of the other players that popped up here or there. I think there's going to be a round, McCluggage, there's going to be a round where Hick would go
He
nuts.
kicked the bag.
He kicked fucking
Oh, and Charlie.
And Charlie Cameron had a couple of barn burners. As much as I like Lachie Neale, don't see him winning. Same with our number 5 position, Tim Kelly. I can't see him winning. He started off really well if he had to continue. Yeah. And the other thing with Geelong, and number 1 as well, which is why I don't think he's a chance, is that Geelong has had so many players.
Yeah.
You know, Abbott's going to be stealing votes. Hawkins probably steal a few votes here and there. There's just a plethora of players. Guthrie, they're just going to be stealing from each other. I think we skipped number 4. What do you reckon? What's the point? Dustin Martin.
Oh, yeah, he got suspended, didn't he?
He did. And he had, his first half was pretty poor.
Yeah, I think earlier on, people were really attacking the arm to try and get avoid the fend off.
Yeah.
And then he started going forward, and that didn't matter anymore.
Yeah, exactly. But he can't win anyway, so that's why I want him to win. Because it's fucking hilarious when that happens. Not that it's happened in recent memory, but it's happened, but not recently.
Who was the last one? Was it Richo?
No, Rich. No, he came very close.
Oh, okay.
He came very close.
Or was it?
I think he was. I think he lost by a vote or 2.
Yeah. I remember it was someone in the mid 2000s was suspended.
Yeah, he was sitting at home. They went to his house. They're like, no, he doesn't want to come out and talk to you. Who was that?
Because I think Luke Darcy finished 3rd as well.
Yeah.
Because Luke Darcy got close.
He got
quite
close,
close
yeah.
as well. Anyway.
Nat Fife is a reasonable chance, I'd say, apart from Mundy. Mundy will take some votes.
Yeah,
he'll definitely, because they started off pretty well.
Yeah,
he'll definitely be getting a lot of 3s and 2s.
I think. I reckon he'll get a few more 3s on the picking because he really did carry the team, especially in the second half.
Strapped shoulders.
Oh,
And that weird arm thing that he wears. Apparently he wears it so his granny can spot him out. You know that arm thing that he wears?
but his granny can spot him.
Yeah.
How can you not tell it's 5?
I don't know.
He's the human.
He's got a neck like Frankenstein.
He's the upside down human pyramid.
He is, yeah.
He could spot him from a mile away.
So he's predicted to finish on 25 votes. Patrick Cripps in 2nd position. I think everyone loves Patrick Cripps.
Yeah.
He had a couple of games where he didn't play though.
Yeah.
Out of the bye, he missed 2 games. 26 votes he's finishing on. And then the number 1 man, with 28 votes, and the predictors declared winner of the Brownlow medal, Patrick Dangerfield, for number 2.
Yeah, I'm surprised because
I'm very surprised. I didn't see that coming.
I don't know. I didn't realise he had as good a year as last year.
No.
But he did. He certainly finished well. And as you can see, like from the
Well, they've only got him winning because it's all.
he's just going 3-3-3s. So he's either played really well or stunk it up.
But the thing is that he's not going to get all those threes.
No, he wouldn't have thought so.
No,
There's gonna because rule of thumb is if you've got a lot of if you're relying on a lot of 3-vote games, there's going to be 1 or 2 that you're not going to get.
Yeah, exactly.
It's always been the case.
Exactly, and you got Tim Kelly getting 2s where Dangerfield gets 3s.
Yeah. So, and you know, this is the problem with looking at it now. Is like, say we do the podcast next year, I'd probably want to have a Brownlow tracker through the year to see how people are going. Because looking back now, you don't have like the feel of the game, like what it was. Because it's done there and there. You can't. It's so hard to go from this week, looking back all the way to round 1, and just going off stats.
Yeah, I know.
When umpires don't. I think they might look at stats, but they've got.
I don't think they're supposed to. I think they're just meant to. As soon as they go into the rooms, they put in their little vote.
I remember hearing about it, and I think they're allowed a few things, but
they're hard if not.
but they're definitely going to go off the feeling at the time. They're not going to go off like after a week of analysis.
Yeah, I mean, if you're an umpire and you're like, fuck, like Dangerfield's been everywhere today.
Yeah,
everywhere. Doesn't matter what stats you're going to look at. He's still going to give the 3 votes. That's what he's saying.
That's why back in the day they thought. I think there was a craze about wearing like fluoro runners or like a haircut that'll set you apart because you'll be able to stand out to the umpires.
I mean, there were so many players that didn't win Brownlow medals just because they were such in and under players that no one ever noticed.
And then there were players that were absolute knobs to umpires, like the Duck, Wayne Carey.
Flop chops.
Many people consider him the best player ever, and look at how many Brownlow votes he got.
Yep,
nothing.
Spot on. Which is amazing. Anyway, who's your pick?
I think it's Cripps.
I think it's Cripps as well. Cripps, no one's going to take votes from him.
Except for the opposition.
Yeah, except for the opposition. But there were some games there where he played so well that you're not going to think it matters.
Look at those first 5.
No.
2-1, 2-3-2.
Yeah.
And, had...
He'll be getting 2s all round.
Yeah.
He'll be getting 2s in losing games and 3s in winning games.
And if they were winning games, you'd probably...
If they were winning games...
Maybe that 1 turns to a 2 and one of those 2s turns to a 3.
I'll tell you what, next year's Brownlow is going to be the Brownlow. Because Carlton will be playing better, you'd imagine, and Tom Mitchell's back for the Hawks.
Well, it's going to be Cripps, Fife, Lockie Neal, Tom Mitchell.
Yeah, and possibly Tim Kelly.
And Tim Kelly in the West.
Yeah. It's going to be quite the race.
That's going to be our beauty next year.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And Max gone with Melbourne with having a softer draw.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So.
And I hope the Bond just really next year just exceeds.
Well, he showed signs at the end of the year.
Just exceeds sort of the having someone like Dunkley.
You want him to start.
You want him
to start playing like the Nat Fife that we know that he can get to.
Yeah.
And I think people are probably going to start hating me comparing them, but how can you not? Same kind of build, 6'3", so it's that tall midfielder, stocky.
Who are the 2 that we're talking about?
Nat Fife
and the Bond, yeah.
They've got that similar shape, similar style, similar build.
Yeah.
Bond should be starting to take games by the scruff.
Yeah, and he is. This year was by far the Bond's best year.
Slow start, but he got into it.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, I think we're both picking Cripps.
Yep.
Although, as I said, Max gone. My dark horse.
The Smoky.
Is the Smoky.
The Schmaky.
Is the Smoky.
Well, it's pretty close up in the top 10. It's what?
It's very close.
2 best on grounds, sparing it. 28 to 22. That's pretty close
Yeah.
up the top.
It is. But the Brownlow never plays out like this shit, so it doesn't matter anyway. Alright, let's have a look at this week's games. Nick, do you want to take us through?
Do you want to have a look at
last week's
last
games? Do we care? Do we just want to quickly run through it? You take us through it.
We kind of went through the Geelong West Coast game. It was definitely a game of 2 halves and not straight down the middle. As in, Geelong dominated the first and last quarter, West Coast dominated the middle. And it was looking a little dicey at 3/4 time, and then all of a sudden, Radagilea was smashing the hell out of packs, bringing the ball to ground, and the little guys just had a feeding frenzy. And West Coast just didn't have an answer for it. There's also been some footage of Dangerfield on Natanui, I thought was pretty fascinating. So I think a lot of, Essendon last week, they just had Bell Chambers looking after Natanui and see what happened there.
Yeah.
This week, as soon as the centre bounce was done, Dangerfield just beelined to Natanui.
Yeah.
There were so many times that Natanui had grabbed the ball again and he was on the dirt.
Really?
Dangerfield was all over him. And it probably changed the course of the way that the clearances certainly did. And if a lot of them were in the last quarter, and what happened? Ball went straight down to the forward line. Radagilea or Hawkins either marked the ball or crashed the pack.
Yep.
Goal.
Yep.
And that's why I think Tom Hawkins does big out this week, because they're going to have to bring in someone like him or send Harry Taylor back.
Yeah.
Just to create the contest and to keep Grimes busy.
I don't like Harry Taylor as a swingman. I don't know why. I don't think he likes
swinger.
I don't think he likes being a swingman.
No.
And the other game, Brisbane and GWS.
Well, it was Brisbane's game up until probably the last 15 minutes, and it just all fell apart. They went away from what they were doing, and they were just playing right into the hands of Haynes and Davis. But it's just ludicrous how many times the Lions bombed the ball in to like 3-on-2, or they ignored an out kick and kicked it right back into the corridor.
And that's a mental thing. That's that's the pressure.
Yeah, because the Giants were coming.
Yeah, but I think the result's still pretty good for Brisbane.
Absolutely.
Because they've got 2 finals losses under their belt,
Like,
and they're going to look at it next year, and their list isn't going to change too much. It's going to be pretty much very similar list going in the next year.
is Hodge continuing?
Hodge is not continuing. Hodge retired. Probably should have had that in our news rundown.
Yeah, because I think I saw him going off, and it's like, okay.
I'm sure he'll slip into a coaching role.
Absolutely.
So he'll still be there.
He's bought a house and everything.
He's settled. I think he's loving it up there, and he's loving the team and the boys and just the culture and the town.
And the
Not the
tan.
tan. Not much of a tan.
Actually, there was a stat on the couch that I thought was fascinating. With most blood rules in the finals, not Scott Selwood, whatever Selwood it is.
Yeah. What's
Yeah.
Joel
Selwood and Luke Hodge are tied at 8 blood rules during the finals of their career.
One's because he's a tough bastard, and the other one's because he ducks his head, but it's neither here nor there.
Oh, I don't know. Did you see Selwood at the end of the game? Like, the blood just streaming.
I know.
Like, holy shit.
50-50 with Selwood. He ducks half the time. What was I going to say? Brisbane. So I think Brisbane are going to be scary next year. They're going to be really scary.
They're going to get a tougher draw. So next year will definitely be a test.
Yeah.
Especially without Hodgie as well. So they're going to have to rely a bit more on Zork. And there's another old guy there or older, or like around the same age as Orko, but I can't remember.
Oh,
yeah, Mitch Robertson,
Mitch Robertson,
and
yeah.
what's his name? The blonde one, Rich.
And you're rich.
So they're going to be leaning on those three
Yeah.
quite a bit, and Lockie Neal to lead the show.
Yeah.
So hopefully that they don't Melbourne next year. But
No.
it's,
I can't see them. I can't see
it's
that.
a little bit different because interstate teams have that advantage of they've got their base.
Yeah, and they don't have the Melbourne pressure.
Yeah, exactly.
The Melbourne media pressure.
Yeah.
But I think if they make top 4 next year, look out.
Yeah, they'll be.
Personally,
They probably need a bit more out of Hipwood and McStay
yeah.
up forward.
Hipwood's just got. I don't know. He's gonna eat some hamburgers or something.
Yeah, he looks like Danaher, like year 2.
Yeah, he's just gonna bulk up.
Yeah, he's
I'm
gonna
sure they know this. I'm sure they're working on this.
He's a good man.
How old is he? He must be
I
super
think
young.
he's 3rd year.
Yeah, he's gonna be a great player.
Yeah.
Let's jump into these games. Nick, take us through this one.
Right, so we have the 3rd place Richmond hosting the 1st place Geelong. Yes, that's because Geelong lost.
Geelong.
This is at the MCG tonight. If you're watching this today, on Friday.
If I can get it up tonight.
So we've got the odds at 134 for Richmond and $3.40 to Geelong. It's supposed to be a bit of rain tonight, so I think it's going to be a bit closer than that. No changes to the Richmond lineup, and we have Lockie Henderson coming in for Tomahawk. How do we feel about that?
The in and out.
Yeah.
It's not really gonna fix the problem. I'm not having Tomahawk, but
No.
I don't think Geelong have a chance in this one personally. I do think because the 2 games are so obvious. You just get that feeling that one of the teams that are going in as the underdog are going to pull it out. But in this one, I'm just so super confident on Richmond. I can't see them losing.
Yeah, with Tom, just seeing how Geelong finished off the game last week, I thought, ooh, this will be interesting. But once the incident with Tomahawk happened, I thought, oh, you've just cost Geelong a grand final and possibly a premiership.
Yeah.
Because I see the winner out of these 2 winning the grand final.
Big call.
I know, but I've been strong on this, but I still don't rate Collingwood.
I don't know. It's hard with Collingwood. It's really hard.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll talk about Collingwood in a moment. So you think Richmond as well?
Yeah.
And is that just off Hawkins out?
Also, I reckon the weather's going to play into Richmond's hands.
They play well when it's a bit drizzly.
Well, I think their game style suits the chaos kind of game.
Yeah.
Suits the wet a lot better.
Dylan Grimes playing his 150th.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep, that's it. Umpires: Matthew Nichols, Razor Ray, and Sean Ryan.
How was Razor?
It's unbelievable.
How was he in the top?
Because he's Razor Ray. He's a fucking institution. He's an Australian icon.
Not a good umpire.
But he's an Australian icon.
I agree.
Now, what's the quickest way to get to the next
Yeah,
game?
who knows? Yeah, the back button.
Oh no. Nick, talk about something while I do this.
It's going to lead into the Collingwood game, but have you heard that there's a bit of whispers about Jamie Elliott's future?
I think I did.
So they were asking about, because I think he's not contracted yet, and they were asking about where it's at, and he was being very vague.
Really?
Yes, wasn't saying 100%.
Well, where does he want to go?
Don't know, but he was saying stuff and going, oh yeah, wait till the end of the year, and like the normal stuff. But there was nothing in there that was sounding like
He wanted to stay.
yeah.
It's So watch this space.
Watch this
You're not gonna know anything more until they're knocked out. So game number 2 of the prelims, we've got Collingwood facing off against the GWS Giants once again at the MCG. This is a 4:35 game on a Saturday. 20 degrees and a few showers. I have it on good authority that it won't rain. That authority is, I just thought of that then, and I'm guessing. So the ins and outs we have for Collingwood in Ben Reid and James Aish, and Ben Reid's coming in for Jordan De Goey, and then we've got Levi Greenwood injured as well.
Really?
Yeah. Aish is an alright in, but De Goey and Greenwood would be out.
Especially in finals.
In a final, yeah.
I'm talking more about Greenwood because Jordan's had injury issues for a while now.
Yeah.
And it's sounding like he's a very good chance to play a grand final if they make it.
Yeah.
But yeah, having a tagger or a guy like Greenwood in the finals is just gold.
Yeah.
And losing him, that's a big out.
And Ben Reid's very...
Yes.
He could be on, he probably won't be.
So they've brought him in to play forward.
Yeah. He can be pretty good in that position.
Yeah, but on balance on how the Collingwood forward line structures are, does it suit a Ben Reid?
Probably not.
Does Ben Reid suit that forward line?
Probably not. Ben Reid doesn't suit too much.
Because Jordan De Goey is not a tall player. He plays a bit taller than he is, but he's more of a mobile.
But
medium side.
it's Ben Reid's 150th game.
Okay. He's coming in to play his 150th. Like, big deal. Like
Same
Dylan
deal.
Grimes, like he's been there all year, so.
And on the GWS side, as we know, out we have Lockie Whitfield and Toby Green. Huge outs. In we have Ian Hill and Lachlan Keefe.
Yeah. Lockie Keefe, okay. Ian Hill, I've never even heard of him.
Yeah, it's Giants outs or worse. Umpires, we have Matt Stevic. Andrew Stevens or Stephens. And Simon Meredith. This one for me, can't see Collingwood losing to the Giants on G. Cannot say it. Cannot fathom it.
Giants have a good record of late against Collingwood. I think they've won 3 of the last 4. And
How many on the G?
1. So two times at the Giant Stadium and 1 time at the G. So
Collingwood aren't the sort of team that the Giants can come up against and absolutely monster them.
probably not.
No.
Um,
By the way, Collingwood $1.30. Giants $3.60. Very similar.
yeah, very similar.
Very similar.
So they're picking two one-sided games, and I don't know. I don't think they're as one-sided as everyone's kind of making out.
I don't know. I think they're pretty one-sided personally, but I also see the opportunity for either GWS or Geelong to just sort of sneak in. I hope so. I think it'd be more exciting if it was GWS.
Yeah, because finally they've made it.
Finally, yeah, and I think even people in Melbourne will get up and about.
And could you imagine like them making the greenie and then Lockie Whitfield and Toby Green
come back
in for the greenie?
Yeah, and the only thing is that it would potentially be against Richmond.
Yes.
And no, Richmond is such a huge club that supporter-wise they'll dwarf them.
Yeah,
like just hype-wise they'll dwarf them. Geelong on the other hand, because they've been in so many grand finals in the past 15 years, and they're massive base again, but mainly Geelong-centric. I think that'd be a great grand final, GWS and Geelong. It won't happen. Absolutely no chance of that happening.
It's like
zero donuts.
Best case scenario for us, because we'd love to see it, but I think probably the AFL would be thinking, Richmond Collingwood, please.
Yeah. The only way around that is that AFL would love it if the Giants
They would.
But they also know how much moolah is there for a Collingwood Richmond grand final, and just how much hype and how much excitement in Melbourne.
Well, this is
Nowhere else. No one else will care.
this depends on whether AFL are short term or long term thinkers, though. The short term, yeah, you're absolutely right. But long term, GWS making it the grand final.
Yeah.
That's huge. You know how much money they're going to make? Because they still,
GWS winning a grand final.
they still own GWS. So they're primarily responsible for that team and Gold Coast at the moment.
Yeah.
The long-term effects of GWS making a grand final is huge.
Not only that, but the Sydney Swans are in a rebuild.
Yes, so they need somewhere.
So if the Giants come out and win a grand final, probably anyone that supports Sydney is a Sydney native, they'll flip.
Oh, don't let my mum hear say that.
But a Sydney goer, so someone that lives in Sydney, they're an occasional AFL supporter.
Yes.
They'll flip.
And on the fencer,
Yeah.
not someone that's already a member. And
No, I'm talking about your casual.
your
Football
absolute
fans.
casual.
Yeah.
They'll end up
Yeah.
flipping.
Yeah. No, if you wear your scarf down to the shops, you're not switching. But yeah, absolutely huge. I'd love to see GWS not only get into the grand final but win it. I'd love it. Not only that, because I don't want Collingwood to win. Richmond had their go 2 years ago, and Geelong.
I don't want Collingwood to get equal with us on premierships.
I couldn't get stuck. No one ever talks about that.
I know.
And then it's going to happen eventually because that's not going to win a premiership for another 30 years. So, so we're thinking that the grand final is going to be Pies and Richmond.
Yeah, looks looking that way.
Looking that way.
I think the most likely of the two that it will be an upset, I reckon, is going to be the Giants.
Yeah.
I see it's just probably going to be too big a mountain for Collingwood, for Geelong to.
Yeah, I think, but I also think that the biggest question here is, does anyone will have a handshake agreement with a Richmond figurehead from 20 years ago that Richmond wear the white shorts?
What are the yellow shorts?
The yellow shorts and the yellow back. So the reverse,
Yeah.
the reverse stripes, the black stripe and the yellow.
It's where you finish on the ladder. Too bad. You finish top, you get the right to wear what you want to wear, and the team finishing lower has to wear the away strip.
No, there's no way that
I'm sorry.
There's no way that, especially after 2 years ago when they had to wear their the yellow jumper, even though rightfully so, they should have worn the yellow jumper.
In America, all the sports over there, they have every team. I think must have a white alternative.
Yeah.
At least, and every away game they wear that white.
Yeah.
I think the Patriots are one of and the Cowboys are two exceptions.
Of course,
because their home strip is
because
white.
they've got all the money.
Well, their home strip is white, so it makes it a little bit hard. But it's like, there's no excuses these days. Like,
It's
seriously,
I don't even think
the amount of money they can make out of away strips.
Yeah.
But that.
And Collingwood having a white back, I love that look. I like it.
I can't remember.
I like that look.
But I
it
think
looks
it's
good. It's just the same at the front, but it's a white back. I reckon it looks real classic.
Yeah.
I like it.
Is it much of a clash jumper though?
Well, if
Does it
they've
make
both
it
got black backs, then it's a clash.
Yeah.
That's the only thing they need to change.
Yeah.
Really. And it's easy for Collingwood to do that because Richmond.
Because if someone's running awful in the opposite direction,
yeah.
it's a bit
If you're kicking this way and then running like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's about it. So we'll see you next week.
Just one more thing. It's just a little tidbit that I thought was interesting during the week. It's related to the Willie Rioli thing.
Yeah.
But I think Peter Sumich,
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
former West Coast great apparently. I don't know. Wouldn't know.
Peter
Wouldn't
Sumich.
know. But candidate for the Freo job said something very interesting about, or like alluding to the culture of the West Coast Eagles, saying that it's a little bit systemic and that it's, you know, it was only a matter of time that something like this was going to happen.
West Coast.
Do you reckon he knows he's got the job and he's trying to
Maybe.
some
The
shit?
thing is, it's a stupid statement because West Coast of 2005 and West Coast now,
Yeah.
there's absolutely no connection at all whatsoever. And I'm pretty sure that Willie wasn't on drugs. I'm reasonably confident.
It's
on
looking
one.
like that.
Yeah, and even when it came out, I was like, I just can't picture it. Cannot picture it.
No.
Ben Cousins, you're like, okay. Makes sense.
Okay. Blind Freddy could have told you that.
Yeah, exactly.
I just thought it was.
Yeah.
I love it when I hear stuff like that. It's like, oh, you cheeky bastards.
He was up for a couple of jobs, so I think he probably is he's going to take over the reins at Freo next year. Not that it matters. They'll be no good next year as well. Anything else?
No, just wanted to on that.
Alrighty. So next week we'll have not only the Brownlow wrap up, but we'll be
Did
looking
we go through who wear what?
Oh, we might. We'll go through what the blokes wore. He wore a black suit and black tie. No,
They're getting
now.
a bit more
Yeah,
creative.
they're getting more creative. So we'll go through the best dressed men's
Mm.
next week. We'll talk about all their different coloured ties.
Yeah.
And Sam
Right.
Jones will be back.
Yeah.
And of course, we are running through the grand final. But until then, catch you later, mate.